many more on Morning Impact. From 6 a.m. to 12 noon every day on High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
I love you, babe.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
From the greens of golf to the court of tennis and basketball, the octagon of UFC to the square room for boxing, track of Formula One, and the pitch of football. Join the sports crew on Sport Hall, 6 to 7 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, Fridays 5 to 6 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Here on iImpact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Reviews, views, and interviews, just the way you like it. Exclusive on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, Lagos. Sport Hub for all the updates and analysis.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the fastest man in the world?
That's very simple. It's Usain Bolt. He is the fastest runner on the planet, setting the world record for the shortest 100 meters sprint time of 9.58 seconds.
Wow, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
I've been curious. Who exactly is the youngest swimmer in the world?
Oh, I'll tell you. Alexander Rek, age 10, is the youngest and fastest swimmer in World Championships history. Tarek has been swimming competitively since the age of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm glad I wowed you.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Which club is the first to win Champions League?
That's very easy. Real Madrid. The first Champions League was won by Real Madrid during the 1955 and 1956 season.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Sports in a Jiffy on iImpact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos.
Top of morning sports fans, top of morning listeners, and welcome to Sports in a Jiffy on your most exciting breakfast show, the Morning Impact Show, right here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Monday today, 19th day in the month of May, year 2025. Don't forget that we serve this package every weekday from 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10. Your early morning sports tonic, we call it. Sip all of the major stories currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport. Is it the end of the road already, or we call it the end of an era? And indeed, it looks like that is what is definitely happening right now, because for the first time since 2016-2017 season, when Pep Guardiola took charge of Manchester City, yes, he's going to go trophyless for the first time ever. Amazing season it is. No major trophy. And the big question, where did he go wrong? What happened along the line? The almighty Pep Guardiola, looks like the tactics are now failing. And yes, there's still a chance for him to go to the Champions League with Manchester City, but it looks like one Herculean task going into the final running of the matches in the English Premier League. Don't forget I still got Bournemouth on the way, and that's going to be the next game. The likes of Nottingham Forest are definitely waiting, likes of Chelsea, likes of Arsenal, and even Aston Villa, all in the mix from the 3rd to the 7th position on the log of the English Premier League, has been separated by just 1 point going into the final match day of the league. The EPL sure going to the wire by the end of the season. Same with the Italian Serie A, a battle to the end between Napoli and also Inter Milan. We're looking forward now. We're monitoring the progress of that. Don't forget that later this week we'll be seeing the final between the 16th and the 17th on the log in the English Premier League, in the UEFA Europa League final. One big week to look forward to if you're a football fan. And yes, on the show this morning as well, also be taking a look at the National Sports Festival that began with the opening ceremony yesterday right there in Ogun State. Pomp and pageantry, creme de la creme of sporting activity will definitely be happening right there in Ogun State. It's tagged the Gateway Games 24 and the 22nd edition of it. Yes, we'll take a look at all of the happenings currently on the way already, because the games have begun in earnest since yesterday. Also talk about age grade football, where the Flying Eagles have now set for a bronze medal right there at the Under-20 African Cup of Nations, defeating the host nation Egypt in the third place match to win the bronze medal. Don't forget that they already have in the bag the qualification for the Under-20 World Cup that will be happening between September later this year right there in Chile as well. Going back to the English Premier League quickly, we'll talk about Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner over the weekend as well, won their first major trophy in over 120 years. Don't forget, they'll be playing in Europe. And the big question, someone is asking, how many English teams will be playing in Europe this year? Well, maybe 8 or 9. I'll tell you more about it in the course of the show this morning as well. Sports in the Jiffy right here on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. A season where a lot of trophy draw have been ended. Crystal Palace ended a 120-year trophy draw. Boyogna as well won a trophy for themselves in 51 years of their history. Newcastle also won the Carabao Cup. Well, Arsenal does not have the business with this one. They don't even know what it feels like to win a major trophy. We look forward to it. I see your child is laughing. That's a shot fired. Don't forget I'll be back later this is between 6 p.m. down to 7 p.m. on the Sports Up Show, where we get to do 1 hour of banter, 1 hour of rage, 1 hour of views, reviews, and all of the interviews right here on your number one urban lifestyle station, Empire Radio 102.1 FM. Ayade Jajiboye is my name, and such an honor to be your host on the show this morning. Such a reminder that I can keep track of this update and more by following us across all streaming platforms. We are currently live on our Facebook fan page at Empire Radio 102.1 FM, as well as on YouTube at impact 102.1 FM. To the switch of the back of the net right now, we get the show on the road. Starting with athletics talk on the show this morning, where Nigeria's presence at the 2025 World Athletic Championship in Tokyo continues to grow as Temitope Additional and Tima Godbless secure the places at the prestigious global event following standard performances over the weekend in the United States. Competing for Texas Tech, Additional equaled a personal best of 1.97 meter to claim gold in the women's high jump at the Big 12 Outdoor Championship, and a winning mark also set a new meet record and made the automatic qualifying standard for the World Championship scheduled to take place in Japanese capital from September 13 to 21. On the track, God Bless, representing Louisiana State University, delivered the season's best performance of 11.06 seconds in the women's 100-meter final at the Southeastern Conference Outdoor Championship, finishing second behind South Carolina's Jamesia Ford, who clocked the same time for gold. God Bless time meets the World Championship entry requirement of 11.07 seconds, earning a second individual event slot at the Tokyo meet. Don't forget that in April, she had already booked a spot in the 200 meters by clocking 22.55 seconds at the Tom Jones Memorial Meet in Florida, just inside the 22.57 seconds qualifying standard. And elsewhere, the likes of Additional and God Bless are now part of an expanding Nigerian contingent ending to Tokyo, which also includes Ezekiel Nathaniel, Samuel Gazi, Ella Onojevo, Kanisola Jaya, and reigning world champion Toby Loba Amushon. Ophelia also qualified in both sprint events with times of 10.99 seconds in the 100 meter and 20.05 seconds in 200 meter, while Nathaniel Gazi have hit qualifying marks in both the 400 meter and the 400 meter hurdles. Talking other sports on this show, this one I mentioned to you earlier that the 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival officially began yesterday with a colorful opening ceremony at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex at Abeokuta amid the fanfare in front of the estimated 10,000 spectators, showcasing the very best of Ogun State and Nigeria as a whole. The opening ceremony, which lasted more than 4 hours, began with a soulful rendition of the national anthem and the Ogun State anthem by popular singer and songwriter Bukola Elemide, also known as Asha. The rendition was followed by the performances which later atop the arena, as well as the colorful march past of the 36th state, the Federal Capital Territory, and the invited junior athletes who are dubbed as the 38th state at the National Sports Festival. The evening was also capped by Afrobeat star Davido, who thrilled the spectators by dropping energetic hits of his newly released 5 album, among other old hit songs from his discography. Now going into the event proper this morning, 2 members of the invited junior athletes for the 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State, Amarachi Chijioke and Scholastica Tekembo, outshone elite athletes in the 45-kilogram women's weightlifting event, winning 2 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze medal yesterday. The weightlifting event began on the opening competitive day at the NYC Orientation Camp, Shagamu, just as other events like Kung Fu, Dev Badminton, and Badminton also got underway in Ikene and Abeokuta, respectively. Chijioke claimed 2 gold medals in clean and jerk with the best lift of 82 kg, while she totaled 146 kg for the total all. Her IJA counterpart Tekembo also claimed the bronze in clean and jerk with the best lift of 78 kg after Rivers State Christina Alorima, who took silver with 81 kg. The dubbed the 38th state, the IJA team at the NSF comprised over 100 teenage athletes selected from across Nigeria to compete against more established counterparts in 9 sports. Anyway, from other sports, straight in the world of football, this morning, Nigeria secured the Hartford bronze medals at the 2025 Under-20 African Cup of Nations, overcoming the host nation Egypt 4-1 on penalties, following a 1-0 draw in regulation time at the 30th June Stadium in Cairo yesterday. It was a match filled with intensity as both sides fought redemption after falling short in the final. Nigeria, now with 5 third-place finishes in the Under-20 AFCON history, showed composure in a tense shootout to end their 14th podium finish in the competition. Egypt, don't forget, they struck early in the game yesterday, looking like they're going to threaten Nigeria in the opening exchanges, but then the reverse happened to be the case. Despite the early setback, Nigeria gradually found the rhythm, and their midfield began to dictate the tempo, and chances definitely followed after. The persistence paid off shortly after the break, and just 2 minutes in the second half, Divine Olise split the Egyptian defense with a perfectly weighted pass, allowing Bidemi Amole to coolly finish beyond Tema and draw Nigerian level in the game. The victory also maintained their strong record against the host nation, having previously defeated Egypt on home soil in a similar fashion during the past editions. And with the bronze medal won, the Flying Eagles now turn their attention to 2025 on FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile later this year. Quickly before I go from the home front this morning, it's been said that Tyson Fury's promoter Frank Warren has admitted that a potential mega fight between the Gypsy King and Anthony Joshua remains tempting despite Fury's stated desire for a trilogy bout with Alexander Usyk. Warren told newsmen that while Fury might be motivated by revenge against Usyk, a showdown with Joshua would generate massive interest in Britain. Fury announced his retirement from boxing at the start of this year after losing 2 tight decisions in world heavyweight title against Ukraine's Usyk last year. And either the former WBC champion has regularly released footage of himself training in recent weeks, fueling speculations that the comeback is very, very imminent. Trust Gypsy King, he will always drop something for you to still have something to say about him. Before we go away from the home front this morning, let's go talk about Nigerian players abroad. And yes, definitely, this one is coming from the Super Eagles and Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi has expressed his desire to return to action following the RN health scare that saw him placed in an induced coma after emergency surgery. The 27-year-old sustained a severe injury during Forest 2-0 draw against Leicester City after a violent collision with the goalpost. They initially tried to play out. Further medical examinations revealed that a ruptured intestine, an injury that required immediate surgical intervention. And post-surgery, when he was then placed in an induced coma for stabilization, he has since regained consciousness and is steadily recovering, though it is almost certain he will miss the remainder of the season. Quickly going through the Nigerian players who plied their trade abroad, Nigerian footballers continue their dazzling run of form across Europe over the weekend with stand-up performances. Right there in Turkey, we saw Victor Osimhen of Galatasaray winning the 25th Turkish Super League title yesterday. And of course, he scored his 7th goal in 6 games to help Galatasaray to win the trophy. The 25-year-old has now scored 25 goals this season, moving 3 clear of his closest challenger, Basake's Christopher Piatek, with 2 matches left in the campaign. And away from that, we also saw Nigeria Nigerian player in Turkey still the opposite end of the table. Ibrahim Olawoyin also delivered a key performance to help Rizespor inch further away from relegation danger. The midfielder was struck in the second minute to give them a lead in an eventual 4-2 victory over Gotse. While in the English Premier League, the likes of Alexander Iwobi and also Calvin Bassey both featured for 16 minutes as Fulham edged Brentford 3-2 at the Brentford Community Stadium, helping the Cottagers secure their highest point tally in the single Premier League season, which is 52. And away from the home front right now, we go straight to Europe, taking talks coming through from other sports. This morning, we start with the world of tennis, where Carlos Alcaraz has now ended Yannick Sinner's streak to win the Italian Open last night. Carlos Alcaraz ended world number one Yannick Sinner's 26-match winning streak with a 7-6, 6-1 win in the Italian Open final. Sinner, playing in his first tournament since the 3-month doping ban, was hoping to become the first Italian men's singles winner at the tournament since Adriano Panatta in 1976. But after edging a tense tiebreak, four-time Grand Slam champion Carlos Alcaraz was class above its second set. Sinner had 2 set points and the first set, but hit a backhand return wide to less reigning French Open champion Carlos Alcaraz off the hook, and the 22-year-old Spaniard took full advantage with some masterful play in the second set, sealing the title with a cross-court volley at the net. Sinner's winning run stretched back to October when Alcaraz beat him in the China Open final. And away from the ATP right now, straight into the WTA, where Yasmin Paolini also ended the wait for a home winner of the Italian Open. Yasmin Paolini produced a scintillating display as she blew away Coco Gauff in straight set to end the 40-year wait for a home winner of the women's singles at the Italian Open. Paolini was a surprise finalist at the French Open and Wimbledon last year, wrapped up the victory on the clay in 1 hour 29 minutes. And all hands in glove right now, we're looking forward to the Roland Garros. That's talking about the French Open that will be kicking off later this month. Let's say 27th is when we'll be seeing the Roland Garros in full-fledged. Away from that, straight into the Formula 1 talks right now, where Verstappen takes dominant win right there in Imola. That's talking about the Italian Grand Prix. A lot of people are calling it a delicious race already, but of course it was a delicious one where Max Verstappen caught McLaren by surprise at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix to seal his second win of the year and lay down a reminder, as if one was needed, that it cannot be ruled out of this year's Formula 1's championship fight. The surprise came in two forms. Firstly, by the spectacular move that the Red Bull driver put to take the lead from McLaren's Oscar Piastri at the first corner, and then by pace, Verstappen showed once out in front. In Miami 2 weeks ago, Verstappen also led the early laps, but it was devoured by McLaren's of both Piastri and Lando Norris in the first 20 laps of the race, and then left far behind. But then it did not happen like that this time around. Talk about the moment that decided the race. On the run in the first corner, Verstappen had actually dropped to third, with Mercedes George Russell edging ahead of him inside, and Piastri apparently comfortably in the lead yesterday. But definitely it was the dominant win right there in Imola for Red Bull Verstappen, who took that dominant victory yesterday. And the four-time champion past pole-sitter Oscar Piastri McLaren around the outside of the first chicane, and after the start, and controlled the race right from there. Lewis Hamilton also benefited from an offset strategy, starting on the hard tire and 2 safety cars on the fight from 12th on the grid to finish 4th for Ferrari, passing his teammate Charles Leclerc in the hectic closing laps thanks to much fresher tires. And yes, coming through from Lewis Hamilton right now, he's saying more to come from Ferrari in the words of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton says there's more to come from Ferrari after he fought back from 12th place on the grid to finish 4th in the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The 7-time champion said racing in front of the famous Ferrari fans, the Tifosi, had been a highlight of the year so far, and that there were lots of more positives to take from the race. It's the first time this year he has finished ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc, who was 6th right there in Imola. According to Hamilton, he definitely used an offset tire starting on the hard tire to run long, and then was helped by 2 safety tires as well. The 40-year-old Briton said he also savored the experience of racing in Italy for the first time as a Ferrari driver. Don't forget that Ferrari, of course, is a brand that is definitely related to the Italians. Oh Lord. And away from that, quickly this morning, before we wrap up, let's go straight into the world of basketball as we're edging closer to the end of the NBA season. Early this morning, Oklahoma City Thunder crushed the Denver Nuggets 125 to 93 points in the decisive game of the playoff semi-final to book a showdown with Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals. A Nuggets win on Thursday night took the series to 7th game, but Denver were swept away in their 7th meeting. MVP candidate Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shone for the Thunder, scoring 35 points as the West top seed reached the conference finals for the first time since 2016. Denver have played more game sevens over the last 7 years than any team, but are now 4-3 in the decisive matches after they lost in Oklahoma. And their 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic scored 20 points but was kept largely quiet as the O's took a 60-46 lead at the break. The Knicks away from that, with the Indiana Pacers playing the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, there could be a new name on the NBA trophy for the first time in the least 52 years. The Knicks were last champions in 1973, while Oklahoma, Indiana, and Minnesota have never won the NBA. The conference finals are going to begin on Wednesday, 24th, with the Thunder hosting the Timberwolves at about 2:30 p.m. British Standard Time, and that's going to be 3 a.m. Nigerian time. Away from that, straight in the world of football this morning, let's go take a look at the English Premier League, where 5 teams and then they are jostling for 3 spots, which will definitely be the race for the Champions League right there in the English Premier League. 5 Premier League teams will battle it out for 3 Champions League places on the final day of the season, with Newcastle boss Eddie Howe saying he had the feeling it will go right to the end. Arsenal's 1-0 win over Newcastle on Sunday ensured they joined champions Liverpool in next season's Champions League, but then leaving the likes of Newcastle as one of the 3 teams on 66 points, alongside Chelsea and Aston Villa, with Manchester City and Nottingham Forest on 65 points. Albeit Manchester City definitely have a game in hand right now. So 5 English sides will qualify for the Champions League through the league, off from the unusual 4, with an extra place secured because of positive results by Premier League clubs in Europe this season. And 6 Manchester City have a game in hand at home to Bournemouth on Tuesday, which is tomorrow, meaning their fate is in their own hands, unlike Aston Villa, beating FA Cup finalists, then visit Fulham on the final day of the league. Chelsea are also known to have a win will be enough for them, but they'll be visiting Nottingham Forest, who beat West Ham 2-1 on Sunday, to keep their own hopes alive too. I will look forward to see how the last game in the English Premier League will definitely be panning out in the coming days. A tick one, if you ask me. Later tonight, we'll be seeing Brighton and Hove Albion host Liverpool at the Amex Stadium right there at about 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Sports in a Jiffy, it is, and I'll be serving it to you right in a Jiffy. Here's where I call it a wrap on the package for this morning. Don't forget, I'll be back here later this evening between 6 p.m. down to 7 p.m. on the Sports Up Show, where we do 1 hour of banter, 1 hour of rage, 1 hour of views, reviews, and all of the interviews right here on your number 1 urban lifestyle station. I did Jajibo signing out this morning. I tell you to stay sporty, stay active, drink enough water to stay hydrated, go out there and be the best version of yourself. Uchi, right here to take you through the rest of your morning on the Morning Impact Show on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Do have a blessed and highly favored week. Good morning.